Hi everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm getting into February card kit from Hero Arts, and I really did not think I was going to like this card kit too much, just being honest. I judged a book by its cover, and then I got it, and I was like, okay, wait a second. I think I can make this work for me. The color palette, I now realize, is probably my new favorite. I love those colors together. So the first three cards that I'm going to be doing here, I'm just running through the kit right now. This extra bit is the magnetic sheet that I have that I cut apart all of the dies and then put them on a magnetic sheet. You know, it would be awesome if stamp companies would send you a magnetic sheet with the dies already cut apart. Just saying. Okay, so as I'm going through that, this kit, the first three cards rather, I'm really super trying to stay with just the kit. But they didn't really give us a whole lot of different elements. They gave us stamps, dies, ink, and this wood grain paper. So I'm really trying to stay within it. Okay, so I have cut out the nest, and I've cut out some eggs, and I'm trying to make it look like, obviously, they're kind of sticking out of it. The slit in this die actually makes sense to me, as opposed to the slit in the ampersand from last month's kit I didn't quite get. So here I'm taking this egg and I am cutting it in half as if it cracked open. So the intent behind doing that is I'm going to ink up part of the legs from one of the birds, and I'm going to stamp that right down onto my cardstock behind what would be the broken egg. And it's going to look like the chick is popping out, obviously. And so I did that. So this could be a birthday card. Happy birthday. And so I am taking to some off-white cream-colored cardstock to the right, and I am going to use the green ink that came in the kit, and then I'm going to actually fussy cut out the happy birthday sentiment. I sometimes forget that you can do this, and it looks really almost just as good as if you had a die to match it. It just takes a little bit longer, of course, but I cut that out. Then I'm going to use a Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle die, and I'm going to cut that down, and I'm going to start to put together my card here. So I learned later that when you're adhering this nest, you actually want to kind of pop up the bottom half of the nest as opposed to what I did, which was seal it down. And I think it just makes a little bit easier for maneuvering that slit area, and it looks more natural. But so I'm placing that down. It still works, and you really can't tell unless I told you. But anyway, I'm going to then put down everything with some Tombow Mono. I'm going to line up my little cracked egg. And then once all of that is ready to go, I'm going to adhere my happy birthday. And then of course, I'm going to leave the cracked piece of the egg just kind of down more off to the side. All right, so I'm adhering with, again, some Tombow. I've taken one of the darker brown colors of the wood cardstock, and I'm going to place that on top of a Nina 110-pound Solar White card base, and then I'm just going to start to put together my card. So I'm layering up quite a bit here. I really like that clean and simple layered look, and the focal element on this card is right there in the front. So I really love that big die that they sent, because again, this is an A2 size card. So I feel like that's a pretty sizable die. I'm going to finish off by covering all of the eggs in some glossy accents, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And that will do it for the very first card of this three. So I am going to do 3 cards in this video and 3 cards in the next video, and that will be our 6 cards a set instead of putting it out over 6 videos, just FYI. And there's some close-ups. All right, moving into card number 2. So I just wanted to stamp out these leaves. I wanted to when I saw the kit post on social media, and so I had to get to it. And I'm overlapping them. I'm not doing any masking. I'm not doing anything fancy. I am just getting these colors together in one place because the color palette is so pretty. And so if you notice underneath, I do have a foam mat, and that is to get me the best coverage that I possibly can. These inks or the stamps are solid images, which are a little bit more difficult to get with a lot of inks. Hero Arts did okay. I've seen some inks do better. I know I don't have any of them, but I know that this is where the inks from Catherine Puller would probably shine because of the solid image. So, but alas, Hero Arts did just what I needed. I kind of liked the little bit of a rustic look. And so I was just getting them all down. So did a large, a medium, and a small of the leaves that came, or feathers, I guess they would be, not leaves, feathers. Okay, so then I'm going to stamp out some more of these feathers, and I am then going to use the coordinating dies that came with the kit, and I'm going to get those cut out. Ignore that bird. He's going to be in the next video, or the next card, rather. So, all right, I'm popping out my stuff, and then I make sure I get all those die cut out. I take a leftover piece of that brown cardstock, and that's going to be almost like a belly band across my card. I'm going to lay that down, and then I'm going to cut both of those panels with a rectangle stitch die. And that way, we're going to have it all line up and match beautifully. And then I'm just going to start putting down my leaves. And I get those arranged the way that I want them, let them dry a little bit, and I'm going to do some heat embossing. So I get my powder bag out, and then I'm going to emboss congrats, because I do love having some congrats cards on stash. And then I'm just going to heat set that with my Wagner heat tool. Once that's done, I pop up my leaves with some 3M foam mounting tape, and then I'm going to finish off this card with a little bit of Spectrum Noir of the sparkle pen, and I don't color every single, like the whole image in, just a little bit here and there. Taking some fun foam that has adhesive on the back, and then putting down that with some 1-inch score tape. And I decided to use the 1-inch score tape because it will flatten this out even more, and I like the way that that looks. All right, finishing off this card, I am using some white Nuvo drops, just to add a little bit extra something something. And that's the finished card. Oh, and I put some extra leaves on the inside. And that'll do it for that card. This one was so fun, and I really, really just love the simplicity of how it was to make it, and then how elegant it actually came out. All right, third card in this video, we are going to pull out what I feel like is the baby bear to the mama bear. I don't know if they're the same bear. I'm not a bird connoisseur. But I do know that it appears to be so. And so I am going to cut him out, and then I'm going to cut a heart through my panel here. So I had to pull out some extra things. And then I'm going to take that green ink straight to some Nina 80-pound cardstock and get that all greened up, because I'm going to, again, try to stay with this color palette. And then I'm just going to start putting my card together. This one's actually very simple. And I'm using some liquid glue to lay that down flat. I probably could have done a shaker here in the back if I had thought about it, but I didn't think about it until just this very moment. And I'm going to stamp Love You, because I feel like this would be such a cute card to give my daughter or my son. And I had to make my own little worm, because it looks like the baby bird has his mouth open. So I had to make my little worm out of just some rando paper. And then I am going to adhere that to the back of the bird's beak. And so it looks like this mama bird or papa bird is dropping the little, it would be a mama bird, right? I don't know. Is dropping this little worm into baby bird's mouth. And here I am just going to get all of my elements glued down. So that, here is where I realize it's better to pop up the bottom of this nest than it is to glue it down. I felt like it just worked a whole lot better. And so you can figure out where you want your little birds to be. I had popped up his head and then glued the body, because it's going to go inside of the nest. And I just kind of stuck him down there and twisted him up a little bit so his mouth looks like he was receiving the little worm. And that will do it for that card. Quick and easy, simple. All right, so that does it for these first 3 cards in this 6 cards a set series. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to hit subscribe to see more from me, and then I will list everything I used below. Also, you can find me on other forums in case you haven't known that. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. All of that is listed below, and my blog. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.